Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me in my presentation of Voices of America, Unraveling the Social Hierarchy of English Dialects. In this presentation, I will first discuss the introduction of this topic, as well as the historical context of English dialects in the US, the perception of social status in the US, its historical influences on perception, the discrimination faced by the various dialect speakers, as well as conclude this presentation. As we have learned in this class, language is more than just a means of communication. It's a powerful tool that shapes our social identities and influences how we are perceived by others. Today, we'll delve into the rich tapestry of English dialects in the United States of America, examining how these dialects affect social statuses and the discrimination faced by their speakers. So, to understand the social perceptions of English dialects, we must first look at their historical origins. The early English settlers brought with them a variety of accents and dialects from Britain. As these settlers spread across the continent, distinct regional dialects began to form, influenced by things like geography, immigration patterns, as well as isolation. So the dialect, for example, has evolved from the English spoken by settlers in the southeastern United States. Meanwhile, the northern dialects were shaped by waves of immigrants from different parts of Europe, especially from Ireland and Italy, particularly during the 19th and early 20th centuries. Similarly, the Midwestern dialects emerged as settlers moved westward, mixing various speech patterns along the way, especially during periods of manifest destiny, where they went westward to settle in newer states. The perception of social status associated with these dialects varies significantly. Generally, the Standard American English, or the SAE, is often referred to as Broadcast English or General American, and is perceived as the most prestigious dialect because this dialect is commonly used by news anchors and also in educational settings, and it is associated mostly with high social status, high education, and more professionalism, which is very similar to how received pronunciation is perceived in the UK. So, Northeastern dialects, particularly those from urban centers like New York and Boston or Maine, also carry a certain prestige, though they can be subjected to regional stereotypes. On the other hand, dialects such as Southern American English, African American Vernacular English, and Appalachian English, especially, are often viewed less favorably. These dialects are frequently associated with lower social status, or lack of education, or even negative character traits, which is very unfair. So, for example, some Americans may hear an Appalachian dialect speaker say things like, "Well, I just don't know if the weather's good enough for fishing." And they may automatically associate it with things like poverty or lack of education, putting them on a lower social class scale, even if the content spoken implies neither. Now, the historical root of these perceptions are deeply embedded in America's past. The dominance of Standard American English is partly due to the influence of the media and educational system, which have long promoted this as the norm and should be the standard of all Americans. The economic and political powers concentrated in the Northeast further solidify the prestige of Northeastern dialects, especially dialects spoken in New York. So, conversely, the Southern dialects and African American vernacular carries the weight of historical stigma. Often, the South association with things like slavery, segregation, and poverty contributed to the negative stereotypes surrounding Southern speech. The African American vernacular, which developed within African American communities, which are often some of the more poor and socially unstable areas, is often unfairly stigmatized due to the systemic racism and discrimination that have persisted for centuries and is even still at play to this day. Now, these perceptions do have real world consequences, leading to discrimination in various aspects of life. In the professional realm, individuals who speak with a Southern accent or African American vernacular may find themselves at a disadvantage during job interviews, such as employers might unconsciously associate their dialects with negative stereotypes, like the one discussed before, and this can really limit their career opportunities and professional advancement. And for education, students who speak non standard dialects often face biases from teachers and peers. They may be unfairly judged as less intelligent or capable, leading to lower expectations and fewer opportunities for academic success. Of course, this is mostly seen in schools in big cities and universities, while regional smaller schools, like elementary or high schools, do not face as much discrimination as most even teachers are spoken with these regional dialects. Now, this bias can also hinder social mobility, as language, like we discussed, plays a crucial role in both networking and accessing resources. In conclusion, the social perception of English dialects in American society is a very complex issue, and it's influenced by things like historical, cultural, and social economic factors. While Standard American English and Northeastern dialects are often seen as high status, dialects like Southern American English, Appalachian dialects, or African American vernacular face significant prejudice. This discrimination affects not only employment, education, but also overall social mobility. So I think it's very crucial that more Americans recognize and challenge these biases, promoting a more inclusive society that values linguistic diversity. So by understanding the roots of these perceptions and working to change them, I think they can create a more equitable environment, for all dialect speakers and promote lessening of discrimination in many different workplaces and in education as well. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm very sorry if my throat has been very sore for the past few days, and if I have not made anything clear, or if you have any more questions, please feel free to contact me. I hope this presentation has provided a valuable insight into the social dynamics of English dialects in the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you very much. And here are the list of references I have used in researching this topic.